Hi, I'm Michelle Boxall, founder of the Blood and Cells Advocacy roster, BCAR, and I'm here with Lillian from NHSBT to talk about blood centres from a UK perspective. So I'm looking to set the scene. BCAR has done a lot of work speaking to the blood centre topic in the US. In the US, community blood centres are described as supplying nearly 60% of the national blood supply and are increasingly recognised as critical infrastructure for cell and gene therapies. How does the blood system work in your country, so in the UK? And would the term blood centre even resonate with how your organisation describes itself?
So I'm Lillian Hook. I'm the Director of Cell, Apheresis and Gene Therapies at NHS Blood and Transplant. Basically, we're responsible for all of the blood collection, processing and distribution to hospitals in England. And then there's equivalent blood services in Scotland and Wales. So yes, definitely that resonates with us in that we're the sole provider of blood for England. And we have, as that points out, so we have several blood centres, I'd say, across England, several blood collection centres, and then we've got three manufacturing centres where we process the blood, and then we've got logistics all across the country delivering those units out to hospitals. So absolutely, that infrastructure, we leverage that as well for work that we do on stem cell transplants and cell and gene therapies.
Okay, because in the US, there's a number of individual blood centres, and then some work as a network. For example, you know, the Vitalin brand,
Yeah.
and Versity, and those. Is that different to how it's set
Yeah,
up?
so here, like I say, NHS Blood and Transplants does all the blood collection, processing and delivery to hospitals for England. And the same is true in Scotland for SMBTS, and then in Wales for the Welsh Blood Service.
In terms of the infrastructure, when it comes to advanced therapies, the conversation in the US has centred on blood centres already having 70 to 80% of the infrastructure needed for cell and gene therapy workflows, collection, processing, storage, logistics, and compliance. When you look at NHS BT, how much of that story resonates, and where do the gaps or differences lie?
So absolutely. I mean, we cover the whole supply chain basically. So because of the work we do on stem cell transplants as well as the blood and organs, we really cover the whole supply chain. So from provision of donors, so we have a stem cell donor registry and a core blood bank where we can provide starting material for ATMPs. Then we have several apheresis centres across the country. We've got 9 apheresis centres where we can do cell collections, and they're set up for cell collections. These aren't plasma and apheresis. It's therapeutic apheresis, so we can do stem cell and peripheral blood collections. Then we have several labs across the country where we can do cell processing. And then across all of that, we've got our logistics infrastructure, which I mentioned earlier, and then our regulatory departments, and one QMS that covers all of that. So, and then I guess, so we cover, everything that you just mentioned for the US. And then on top of that, we've also got manufacturing capabilities. So we've got 5 labs that have got MHRA licenses, so we can actually manufacture the ATMPs. At the moment, we can only manufacture for clinical trials. But we're, working up towards being able to manufacture approved products as well.
Amazing. So looking at the regulatory landscape, in the US, blood centres operate under FDA oversight, which has shaped how they've built compliance-ready infrastructure that pharma increasingly values. In Europe, you're navigating EMA frameworks, national regulators, and in the UK, a post-Brexit regulatory environment. How does that regulatory environment shape what you can offer to advanced therapies developers? And is it a barrier, an advantage, or simply a different conversation?
I mean, it depends how you look at it, like you say. I mean, I think it can be a barrier in terms of for people outside the UK, especially like you say, post-Brexit, now that we're, operating purely in our own regulatory landscape, navigating those differences is challenging for developers. But I think that's where, again, that's something that we can help people with. We've got all that experience, and we have regular conversations with the MHRA and the HTA as well. So the HTA are really important in terms of the starting material and the apheresis and everything. And then the MHRA work on the manufacturing. I think a blood service can offer an advantage because we've got all that knowledge and we can help people navigate that system. And for us being part of the NHS as well, we can help navigate, help people understand actually physically delivering these products into the NHS. We can help with navigating that as well, because that's obviously, a very unique system and difficult for people to understand externally.
Looking at the bigger picture, BCAR was formed because patient access to advanced therapies depends on the blood industry making its voice heard.
Yeah.
From your vantage point in Europe, what is the single most important thing that pharma and biotech companies don't yet understand about what the blood industry contributes and what could change if they did?
For us and for our setup, I think what the industry probably doesn't understand is the apheresis service. So I think they don't understand that how that's set up in the UK, and and it's quite fragmented, and how to access that properly, and that it's quite a barrier as well. I think the other thing they probably don't understand is the network that we have. So we have these labs, apheresis units, and we have labs all around the country. So we really cover the whole country. I'm talking about England here. And I don't think they quite understand that network and the value of that network. And then on top of that, this one overarching QMS and all the logistics and regulatory work that goes around that. So I think if they did understand that more, we could help them more to get their products into the UK and to patients quicker.